Nashville stung defending state champion Hillsboro Monday night. Rochester is this year's 5th first-time qualifier. The Hornets and the Rockets next on the IHSA TV network.
Just joined 3 Central Melrose Park Walther Lutheran in the semifinals. We'll find out who the final semifinalist is tonight. A game between Rochester and Nashville. And for the play-by-play, we will go to Ann Pinstone and Bernie Chero.
Thanks a lot, Kathy, and it's true. 3 tickets have been punched. 1/4 of the piece of the puzzle's left to be decided. Who will it be? Will it be Nashville or Rochester? We're going to have to play it to find out. Coach Wayne Haree has been here 5 times before, as we heard a little bit earlier. And last time was in 2005. 3 of the players actually played on this team, and only 1 with significant time. On the other side, we've got Rochester making their first appearance because they've had a little bit of trouble with the team that they finally took care of this year. Let's take a look at the road to Redburn Arena. First for Nashville. You see DuQuoin, Carterville, we're taking overtime there, Sparta, and then the Metropolis, Massac County. You can see how strong that area is down there and why it's been so tough for them, but they are the strong team down there. On the other side, let's take a look at Rochester. As we said, their first trip because they kept running into Hillsboro, defending champs, and they upset them 44-37 in the Super Sectional to finally make their first trip for 10-year coach Rhonda Maxwell. And Bernie, when you take a look at players, we've been looking at all-staters all day, and basically we've got a couple of keys. Freder King, who was on that team in 2005 but didn't play that much, she's a key for Nashville.
Exactly. As you look at Krista Freder King, she's the type of player, her stats speak everything, but this is what the key is. She has state tournament experience. They are going to look to her. She knows the ropes, so that's what it's going to take.
On the other side, one of your very favorite types of players, a defensive specialist, Katie Turley for the Rockets.
Well, she is one of my favorites because Katie Turley can play some great defense. I call her the aggravator because what she does defensively, you can't see statistically. She has such a strong defensive force on the floor. It's really, really difficult to go against it.
Well, the final game is going to have some keys. You know, coaches have to talk about some things. Keep it simple enough to remember. So what are the 3 keys for Nashville to take it to tomorrow to play Jacksonville route?
Well, Nashville's here, but there are 3 keys in this game with Nashville. Let's take a look at them. They want to get the lead right away and keep it. They want to use the opportunities for the second chance points and confidence. They've been here before. They're going to ride that confidence level, and that's what they need to do. As we take a look at Rochester, pressure early. This is going to be a big defensive game. Follow that game plan and multi-dimensional offense. Score any way you can.
Now, common opponents, basically, are there any common opponents for these 2 teams?
Well, you know, what I really think is so important is the fact that the common factor with these 2 teams is their defensive abilities. Everybody's talking about that tonight. Which team is going to limit the amount of points? I can't wait to see what, folds out on the floor.
Well, and, you look at common opponents or teams or whatever in rankings, and I'll tell you what, there you take a look at the common opponents, Nokomis and Metropolis, Massac County, and they both beat them, so very interesting there. So it really doesn't make any difference. And besides that, who cares? It's tonight that matters. And look at, it's like been in the cover of Sports Illustrated. It's been a curse to have been on it. It's been a curse to have a ranking in this tournament, the last year of the 2-class system. Of course, they're going to 4 next year, so it really doesn't make any difference.
Absolutely. There are 5 first-time qualifiers. We get to see 1 tonight. It's going to be an excellent game.
Well, talk about coaching. How much of an advantage is it for that Wayne, our Energizer bunny, who says he's getting old and I don't buy it?
You know, we talked to him yesterday, and he talked a lot about, it's no big deal. Yeah, we've been here before, but only 1 player's really seen the floor. I'll tell you what, she's the key player, and she told me yesterday when they got back to the hotel, she was going to bring the team into the hotel room, and they were going to talk strategy, and the strategy is to keep on winning.
Well, when you've done that, what difference does it make? How big of a win was that with Hillsboro? Is it a jump start, or is it just another game that doesn't count now?
I think that's a momentum for them. They need to ride the momentum wave. They beat the #1 team. They have the confidence. They need to take that into tonight's game.
Is it any advantage to play the last game of the night?
I don't think so. I think, first or last, they just want to get on the floor.
Well, it's time to stop talking, and let's get to playing. So let's go to Jeff Fritzen, our PA announcer, with tonight's lineups.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the participants for this final quarterfinal game. of America's original March Madness for girls. First, the non-starters from Nashville High School. Number 10, Dana Fisher. Number 14, Stephanie Schnitker. Number 15, Rena Ruggles. Number 20, Lacey Kraft. Number 21, Holly Weathers. 22, Kayla Shar. Number 23, Shannon Hari. Number 32, Tierney McKay. 34, Jamie Dolman. And number 45, Mackenzie Newman. Here are the non-starters for Rochester High School. Number 4, Krista Beatty. Number 10, Molly Edgecombe. 14, Taylor Heisinger. Number 24, Kenna Sands. 25, Kayla Worker. Number 32, Nikki Robinson. 43, Lauren Capps. Number 45, Aubrey Heck. 54, Kelly Worthwine. And number 55, Caitlin Wise. And now here are your starting lineups. First for the Hornets from Nashville, number 11, Taylor Hish. For the Rockets from Rochester, number 11, Jamie Carlson. For Nashville, number 12, Haley Fark. For Rochester, number 20, Katie Turley. For Nashville, number 24, Christy Frederking. For Rochester, number 22, Beth Welbaum. For Nashville, number 25, Tara Ryturski. For Rochester, number 40, Julia Robert. For Nashville, number 33, Serena Grapperhaus. And for Rochester, number 44, Ashley Mershman. Nashville brings a 27-6 record into the game. They are coached by Wayne Hari in his 7th year with a record of 193 wins, 30 losses. He's assisted by Doug Altoff, Dempsey Whitty, and David Fisher. Rochester brings a 29-5 record into tonight's contest. They're coached by Rhonda Maxwell in her 10th year with a record of 253 wins and 66 losses. She's assisted by Troy Piper and Sean Hild. Your officials for tonight's quarterfinal contest: from Camp Point, Bob Baucom; from Winchester, Barry Wright; and from Jacksonville, David Johnson.
There you have it. Those are your lineups. We're just about set to go, but since it's live TV, let's give you a report that both of these sets of fans are going to be excited about hearing about in the Sparta Regional Championship. 3 minutes in the third quarter left to play. Nashville leads by 10 over Redbud, 40-30. And on the other side, Rochester playing at halftime. They are up 18-12 over Riverton. So how about that as you take a look at the starting lineups? Hish, Fark, Grapperhaus, Frederking, and Ryturski for Nashville. Carlson, Turley, Welbaum, Robert, and Mershman, and we are underway. Quarterfinal game number 4, and first ball to Nashville. Wearing the blue and red. And the first shot, number 12, takes it up. Haley Fark, no good, out of bounds, and will go out to Rochester. There you see the season team comparisons. Anything stand out there, Bernie?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the fact that, you know, their shooting averages are pretty much the same. Again, tonight I think I'm really going to look at the defense and see what happens defensively by both teams.
Well, one of the things that's been most impressive, we know Rochester has like a 20-point differential between what they score and their opponent's score. That's
just
impressive.
Have a steal right there.
Fart, stop, pop, good. First
You know, when you can steal the ball from somebody's offensive set and then score out of that, that tells you something about their defense.
With the ball, number 22, with Beth Wellbaum. Driving with it, number 20, Katie Turley. We talked about her defense. She can take it to the hole as well. Puts it up, bank, no good. Rebound, and she gets, oh, good play. Good hustle by Taylor, or by Jamie Carlson.
Jamie
Bucket
Carlson
good.
getting her own rebound, being fouled from behind. Take a look at that streak by Nashville, 13-game win streak. They haven't lost since January 13th.
Against Paris, a team that we've seen down here, who has an all-stater, Maggart. And that's good. Carlson finishes a three-point play. So early lead to Rochester, 3-2. Bringing the ball down, Taylor Hish goes left. Hawked, man-to-man D. Looking for a hole, open shot. Tursky looks but doesn't take it. And we're gonna get a travel at the top of the key. Frederick turns it over.
Defense putting on some pressure.
The team that wins this one goes against Jacksonville Rout, who had an outstanding game. And that will be the final piece of the puzzle. Of course, earlier, Walter Lutheran will face off against Breeze Central. Turnaround no good. Rebound to Ryturski. And out quickly, but doesn't have the numbers. So she pulls it out. Set shot by Hish. No good off the rim. Rebounded by the Hornets. Things calming down just a little bit. They're feeling each other out. Frederick deep in the circle, in the baseline. Got some open shots, choosing not to take them right now. Looking for the better one. Good defense being applied by Rochester.
Well, I like seeing all the touches on the ball. Very patient offense. Find the open player.
And tip, but stays here. Right back, there was a screen there, but too late. Frederick, whoa, creative footwork. Was not going to count except for the travel. Good call.
Well, she's definitely the leader of the team. She made her decision early that she was going to drive the basket.
Got a good shot of Ron Maxwell giving her team some encouragement. As they bring the ball up. 10 years, what a record she's had.
Nice pass.
Good bucket. And that bucket goes to Merschman. 5-2, Rochester with the lead. We are 5 minutes left to go in quarter number one of the final quarterfinal game here today. Outside-ish, gets the roll, no good. Comes off the front, rebound to Merschman. Long pass, open player. Oh, just tried to go to the hole before she caught it. Jamie Carlson a little fast.
You really won't see that happen too often because of the transition. Both teams face full court defense.
You can almost see her wheels turning. We'll be back with more quarterfinal action right after this network message. Back high overhead of Redbird Arena, the campus of Illinois State University, where first quarter action finds Rochester with the lead 5-2, and Nashville they're playing against Nashville, and at the third quarter, it is Nashville 46, Redbud 32, and boys regional action. We've got everything for you here. Next week, AA girls, and then boys A, followed by AA boys. So this is the first of 4 successive weekends. Good drive, Taylor Hish, 4-2. Brings it just to a deficit of 1, single digit. And a nice drive. Slowing down a little bit. Well, both teams staying in the half court. Merschman, no good. Rebound Hish. She looks, no numbers. She'll keep it here. Jamie Carlson all over. Nice defense. Had a free there, but no one moved into the lane. Ball moved around the perimeter, looking for an open player. Good defense by Rochester. Very similar, Bernie, to the game right before this in terms of half court. Very patient. Hish, the lefty, good.
Well, one of the things that Nashville talked about is that they knew they were going to see that defensive pressure and they wanted to take their time offensively.
Nashville's first lead of the ball game. They go up by 2, 7-5. Ann Penstone along with Bernie Cherrill here in this final quarterfinal game. Drive and dump. It's almost like watching a mirror on both sides. Julia Robert with it. And we'll go around the perimeter. The cuts are moving, going inside out, but no one's getting the ball inside there. Just as I say that, in it goes.
A lot of
nice
pumping in there.
Under. Mershman no good, ball loose. And saved by Grapperhaus. She gives it up to Hish, who runs the team for the Hornets. Oh,
nice screen.
Nice bumps. Right, Tursky. Over to Grapperhaus. She takes the shot. Good.
You know,
And it's 3.
Rochester looked a little confused on their defensive assignments there. Someone let her open.
Well, and Serena Grapperhaus is their primary three-point shooter, so you sure don't want to give her that shot. Down in deep, nice move. Turley, no good rebound, stays with Nashville. Oh, and it doesn't fall with the Rockets, I'm sorry.
And, you know, we want to encourage the girls to go up really strong when they get an offensive board, but when you have 4 people on you, kick it back out. Let somebody else put up that shot.
We talked about Nashville's 13 game streak, and Rochester has 14 of their own. Their last loss against Taylorville on January 11th. Get a good luck at Coach Maxwell. At the line, number 44, Ashley Mershman. And no good on the first. Into the lineup for Nashville, number 23. That is Shannon Hari, not related very closely anyway to the coach. And number 4, Krista Beatty, comes in for Rochester. And bounces around and good.
Both teams still trying to find the chemistry that's
now
really
we're
needed in this first quarter.
Rochester pulling out the full court. Stallion the man. Going after Frederick, who helps handle the ball. He's really a forward, but can handle the ball so well. It's nice to have somebody like that fight the athlete. Grapperhaus, in and out, no good. Rebound. Tipped out of bounds and bodies all over.
That's those second chance points that we talked about prior to the game. As we look at Nashville, they're scoring highs and lows. Their season high, 86 points against Chester. Season low, 26 against Carlisle.
2 shots. Good. Hari with the free throw. She's a 5'8" senior. And nothing but net on the second one. There's Wanda Maxwell crouching down. And coming up the floor, Rochester down by 6. Double them up. After leading early, Nashville's come storming back. And the ball, nice turnaround jumper, no good. Bound in and out, Caitlin Wise. She's a 6'1", just a sophomore, and what a nice footwork she had on that turnaround. Just wouldn't fall for it. Open shot, doesn't take it. Grapperhaus tries to dribble, it's tied up, and we're gonna have a held ball.
And you could tell defensively now, things are starting to fall into place for them.
Substitution for Nashville, number 10 enters the ball game, Dana Fisher. A 5'5" junior.
What Rochester needs to do now is if they could get those turnovers, you know, defensively, they need to score once they get that possession.
Going around the perimeter, a little tentative. Beatty in for the first long shot.
There you go.
Good.
Came out of a real nice screen set down low with the low block.
Katie Turley with a tray.
Katie really known for her defense, but showing she could play the offensive end too.
Out the top with the ball, Fisher. Nice crossover. Kicks it out wide, open shot. Oh, bounces out. Rebound Turley. 12-8, Nashville with a 4-point lead. Back to Wellbaum, inside. Totally different game with the tall 6'1" sophomore in there.
Now that type of open shot, you really want to take your time with that shot so it goes in.
We've got 18 seconds, so go for one. Have the lead by 4.
Coach Harry's over there expending much energy.
He is a little calmer than we saw him in 2005, but
not much.
Oh, no good off the rim, rebound. And there's the buzzer. 12-8, Nashville leads by 4 in this final quarterfinal game. As you see, Wayne Haree trying to make his 5th trip a memorable one. We'll be back right after these local messages.
We gave a lot of credit to Stark County for their fan base. As you can see, Rochester has brought a sea of orange as well, including Ryan. Ryan, interesting fashion choice. How are you doing today with this whole get-up? And you're obviously telling everybody not to touch you.
It's really hot. That's really it. But otherwise, I got school spirit. It's for the girls right here. I hope they win. And I got everybody else back here.
The fans and the kids who come to cheer on, the whole towns come here in Class A, and that's one of the best parts about this. This arena is packed in orange and blue, and it's what it's all about. And we've got an update for you. Nashville's Nick Haree, there's a lot of Harees down there in Nashville, has advanced to the Country Insurance 3-point showdown. So congratulations to Nick. We're going to Peoria. Oh, nice little move. No good, off the glass, rebound. And there's a scramble for it coming out of it. Number 55, Caitlin Wise. She calmly holds it up, gives it up to Wellbaum.
Beth Wellbaum is the type of player that really prides in getting the assist, finding the open player, generating the offense.
Not one starter on the Rochester Rockets is a senior.
Well, as a coach, you like that.
No kick.
She did. She traveled. Just a little bit of a stutter step.
Turley called for the travel. And take a look at our stats so far in the first quarter. Those are the Menard stats, saving big money at Menards. And you get the look at free throws pretty even.
Everything looks even to me. Rebounds, assists. You can't, really do more than that. Nothing really stands out.
The big stat that counts, of course, for Menards is the one with the scoreboard, 12-8 in that first quarter. And it's still that as we are now a minute and a half into the second. Long shot, Hish, no good, off the board, rebound, and loose. We'll have a held ball.
Hish was really getting a lot of open shots. She's going to find that shot very soon.
Your scoring leaders, 4 for Hish and Grabberhouse have 3. Rochester, so 3 seems to be the popular number right now. Carlson Hirschman for Rochester. Not a lot of scoring so far, mostly half-court offense and picking out the good shots. Every possession so important when you get to the state. Inside, nice defense by
Fred.
Your girl Fred Frederiking.
Her nickname is Fred.
Oh, another open shot. It bounces around, no good. Nice job by Wellbaum. The athlete jumps sky high and tips it out to Robert. Nikki Robinson in the ball game for Rochester, number 32. Handed it back to Robert, who's got it right now. He's looking for an opening. Inside, nice move by the sophomore, Caitlin Wise, for her first 2.
Caitlin Wise really getting the position, nice ball fake to the right and then going to the left over the shoulder of the defender.
She's doing a really nice job of asking for the ball and staying low and clearing out so she's getting the good passes to her. She's had good looks, that's her first bucket. Spin dribble, we're gonna get a hack foul. Let's see who it's gonna be on.
My guess is Caitlin.
You are correct. Caitlin picks up her first. It's her first. Watursky in for the Nashville Hornets. Watursky's got to be careful. She's got 2 fouls.
Well, you know, I think you're going to have a lot of fouls when you play the type of defense these teams play. They are very, very aggressive. Their hands are everywhere in the passing lane, in the face of the offense.
Rapperhouse with a nice drive, just couldn't finish it. Turley with it. Up high this time is Wise. They swing it. Now she goes back inside. Nice hands by Watursky, who's just entered the ballgame.
She lost her defender. She should have put up a shot.
Outside. Turley no good off the backside to Grapperhouse, and Nashville will bring it up. 12-10, Nashville with a 2-point lead. 4.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. The winner gets Jacksonville Rout. They beat Stark County in a great ball game, tied all the way. Clark with it. Another open look at the L. And off the side, and we're going to get a foul on 24. That's Freder King, as she went over the back on that rebound.
Coach Harry not really happy with her decision on that.
As you take a look at the score, 12-10, Nashville by 2. We'll be back right after these local messages.
Kathy Wagner back here at Redbird Arena, and although the Nashville crowd does not have the numbers that the Rochester crowd does, they're certainly loud.
It's all about the voice.
No shyness over there, that's for sure.
They're having fun, that's all that matters.
They are having great fun, and they're cheering for their team, and that's what it's all about. Good sportsmanship and coming down with your whole community, because it's been a year-long experience as they take the road to Redbird Arena. Freder King with it, over to Clark. Guarded closely by Wellman.
Taylor Hish really making some smart decisions, good choices.
Not rushing anything.
No, she seems to be like the, you know, floor general.
Good movement, because it's created an open shot almost every time for them at the L on one side or the other. Usually the left side. There's another opportunity, doesn't take the shot. Watursky could have. And getting that open shot often right there.
Well, many times I think offensively, before you take a shot, you want to make sure your teammates are poised for a rebound in case that shot doesn't go in. There's so many elements that need to fall into place when you're running an offense.
Freder King looked like she was going to take that, but backed off.
Coming
Very
out of the screen.
patient. Wow. Good offensive movement without the ball. It's one thing that's very impressive about Nashville. Watursky takes it, no good. Rebound to number 11, Jamie Carlson. Wellman cross court to Robert. Oh, nice look. Outstanding.
She saw her
eyes.
underneath that basket before she even hit half court. It's a great assist.
Merschman gets the bucket, but chalk it up to Robert, who had the good vision. And we're tied at 12-all in the second quarter of this fourth quarterfinal game. Oh, nice give and go, but there's a big presence there, and she goes up, and it's tied up. Quick whistle.
Great defense, great defense.
But nice trap. Coming in for Nashville, number 23. I'm sorry, for Rochester, number 23. Oh, I'm trying to see who that is. Oh, yeah, Shannon Hari for Nashville. And 25 enters the ball game for Rochester, and that is Kayla Worker. They say she epitomizes her name. That
Kayla
she
Worker.
is a hard worker, says Coach Wellen. Coach Maxwell, she said she just worked so hard. You see that patient offense. Hish couldn't deny that one. Too easy, and she
You know, she came out of a screen, took her time, made sure her, you know, the footwork was there. She focused on the basket, nothing but net.
almost looked like you see if there are rebounders there, and there were.
There we go, another one, an answer.
Oh, thought it was there, no good. Turley tries it, no good. We're gonna have a foul on the rebound.
Well, Christy Frederking really drew that foul. She had excellent position. Received the board, gets you over the back.
Merschman with that foul. 2 minutes to play for the half. Nashville with a 3-point lead, 15-12. Again, the patient offense. Work it around till you get the open shot. It's sure paid off for them so far.
Well, one of the things that really stands out is the fact that some of these screens that they're setting, they're brush screens. I think if they set some solid screens, they're going to have a clear open shot just a little bit sooner. They're brushing through some of the initial screens.
Good point, Coach. But they certainly moved out the ball.
But they seem to be okay with that.
They've been getting open shots almost every time.
But you'll see coming off the ball, that offensive ball movement and the weak side movement. There's no shoulder-to-shoulder contact on any of these screens. They're brushing right through.
How much does this play to wear out a team and finally make them either mentally wear down and get an opening or even physically late?
It's not so much that as that the defense now is going to end up on their heels and they're going to be a little lazy. Offense becomes patient and defense becomes lazy.
They've run down an entire minute on this possession. It was at 2:01 when they took possession. It's 48 seconds and change right at this point. So I don't know if they're holding for one, but boy, they could if they wanted to. And they're not even, don't appear to be trying to do that. It's just part of their offense.
I think they're looking for the open player. But again, it's just that little element that they're missing.
Get the drive, kick back. Hish looks over for instructions from Hari. Whatever he said, she understood. 25
20 seconds.
She's got a signal going. Frederking with it on the left side. Nashville in blue, Rochester in white. Who will play? Jacksonville route, 10 seconds to play. Hish looked up and lucky she didn't get that taken away.
Coach needs to tell her there's a clock on the basket.
4 seconds, takes the shot, no good. Rebound to Rochester. Will they have time to get it up? No, and that's the way the half will end. Nashville 15, Rochester 12. Coach Hari trying to make this 5th appearance, one that will take him to the semifinals, and Coach Maxwell trying to take their first appearance here after beating Hillsborough on to the semifinals. Let's go to Kathy with the coach.
Thank you very much, Ann. And we have Coach Hari and Coach a very defensive-minded game there in the first half by both teams, and offense was hard to come by.
Well, yeah, both programs are, they preach defense first, which both I think both teams are playing excellent defense out there. There's just no shots to get, and both teams are rebounding so well. So it's by possession. We kind of figured that coming in, and they do a great job, and I think we do okay. So yeah, it's a game by possessions, and I think that's what everybody expected.
All right, well, good luck in the second half.
Thanks.
Back to you, Ann.
Thanks a lot, Kathy. And there you have the halftime score of this final quarterfinal game for the right to play Jacksonville route tomorrow in the second semifinal. And we'll be back right after these network messages.
Well, if you love points, you might not be too happy. But if you're a basketball purist, you love this game because it's all about defense. That's where championships usually start, and both these teams, Nashville and Rochester, definitely like to get in the other's face. With me is Angie Krebs, of course, and Bob Morris, and let's talk about this kind of defense. I mean, it looks like we're looking in the mirrors here. Both teams play the same kind of D.
Well, exactly. I mean, this is one of the best defensive games I've seen all the tournament, and we knew coming in, this is exactly the kind of ball game that Nashville wanted. To be very disciplined in offense and just to only give them one chance opportunity to shoot the ball, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Offense may be a gift sometimes, Bob, but defense is all about heart, isn't it?
Oh, there's no question. It doesn't require an overabundance of talent and ability to have the heart to play defense. And I credit good defensive squads to good coaching. And we're seeing two of the finest, I think, that we've seen all day today perform out here in this ball game.
We'll take a look at the numbers in this fourth quarterfinal game. It's getting loud at Redbird Arena. We're back after these local messages. Bob's groupies are here. When the clock strikes midnight, 4 teams will go home, and 4 teams, of course, will be thinking about the dream, a state championship. Walther Lutheran is in. Breeze Central is in, and about an hour ago, Route got themselves their ticket punch. But now it's between a couple of defensive-minded teams, Nashville and Rochester. Let's take a look at the Menards stats. Menards save big money at Menards. And Bob, I'll start with you. You get points in this game, you earn them.
Boy, there is no question about that. You have to be in the right place at the right time and be precise with your offensive sets if you even want to get an opportunity. As you look at the stat sheets there, you got Nashville going 5 of 19 and Rochester 5 for 17. That's incredible because that's not a lot of attempts for either one of those squads. But yet I credit the defense, how well it's being played.
And of course, no second chance points to speak of, really.
No, exactly. And you look over the turnovers right now, and you can tell both squads are doing a nice job of taking care of the basketball. And like I said earlier, I do believe what's going to come down to who executes better at the end of this game.
And of course, when you're talking a 15-12 score at the half, and Nashville only hit one bucket in the second quarter. It was a 3 that gave them this 3-point lead. You're not going to have a lot of leading scorers. What you do is just lead the scoring at the end of the game. That's really all you care about, Bob.
That's exactly right. Tomorrow when you're suiting up and playing and the other team is in the crowd watching, they didn't ask you how you got there. All they care about is that you got there. One quick stat that I think that is really stands out to me, if any of them does, Julia Robert came in as the leading scorer for Rochester. She hasn't been allowed a shot attempt, let alone a made field goal. She has not got an attempt off in this first half.
The second half is coming up. Don't get too close to your TV. You might get bruised with these defenses. We're back after these local messages.
Welcome back to Redbird Arena, where it's 15-12 Nashville. And I tell you what, it's been a defensive struggle as we talked about it. And Bernie, would you do anything differently coming out in the second half for either team?
Absolutely not. I think both teams are in a great position right now. Coach Hari said it perfectly. He said there are no shots to be had. This is a game of possessions. So every time you get that possession, you have to protect that possession, and both teams are doing that. I don't think they're taking shots that they shouldn't take. I think that both teams are really following their game plan, and right now, each possession will be critical. And if anybody gets a 4 or 6 point lead in the game, it's really going to make a difference because the defense will be the stopping point for either team.
Well, let's take a look at the first half highlights. We've got a bunch of them for you.
Well, as we really look, we could see, offensively, we take, Caitlin Wise, she's just really so strong inside. Nice open shot. She came out of a really solid screen.
That was Serena Grapperhaus, number 33. And now we're going to get a couple of nice passes. Cross court, good look.
And again, she's open defensively, so that was just a minimal mismatch right there. Doesn't happen very often. Again, wide open for the 3, coming out of a solid screen. And those are the shots that they want to take.
And that was Taylor Hiss for the 3. And I tell you what, you're going to see some more in the second half, but they're going to be hard to come by. Let's go to Kathy with the coach.
Thank you. We're here with Coach Maxwell, and Coach, a low-scoring affair, kind of what was expected in this one. You guys are used to not giving up a lot of points, only 33 per game. What do you have to do offensively to get things going in this?
I just think we need to take advantage of every possession we have. A couple times our kids came down, and I thought we just weren't into our offense as well as we need to be. And they're a team that can run an offense for a minute and a half before they shoot. So I think our kids are a little anxious, I think, when they get to the other end. I told them to sit down. We just need to, you look at the score and it's 15-12, and our defense has been good, but we let them sneak out a little bit and get a couple threes that, in this type of game, you can't give those up. And, we do need to score some points to win, and hopefully our kids will get a little more into flow offensively, and we can push the ball maybe a little and attack the basket. So, but every possession is critical when you play a team like Nashville.
Good luck in the second half. Back to Ann.
Thanks a lot, Kathy. And there you see the score, 15-12, Nashville and Rochester. We've got one half to play, and then the final piece of the puzzle will be in place, and we'll be playing Jacksonville Route. We'll be back right after these messages from the IHSA TV network. Redbird Arena, the center of basketball for the next 2 weekends with the girls, Class AA next weekend, and then to Peoria for the boys. And we are ready to start second half action here with Nashville up by 3. And you heard both coaches, every possession really key in a defensive ball game.
Right, and I do think that one of the things that Rhonda Maxwell stated, and it's a good point, they need to dribble penetrate maybe a little bit more. rather than be so patient with the pass, try some dribble penetration out of some of these passes.
Well, that was nice. Good penetration. Mershman at a nice cross drive through the lane. And what I think is also interesting is Caitlin Wise is starting the second half as you look at Julia Robert. They were a much different team with her inside, and they had some good shots and good looks with Mershman on the line. Makes the first. So right away, Rochester closes the gap, and in for Nashville, number 23, Shannon Hari. And she makes them both. So we've got a 1-point differential right now. So boy, if you were at Rochester, you got to be happy for Rhonda Maxwell coming out of there saying, doing just exactly what you hoped your team would do. Taylor Hish for three, short, rebound to the Rockets. So let's see if they can take back the lead. They had the lead early. Nashville came back, has had the lead ever since with about, after the first 3 minutes.
Caitlin Wise really wanting the basketball inside.
Good defense by Frederking. But you're right, she's really asking for the ball, and she's taking good care of it when it's gone in there as well. They have not seemed to have a matchup for her inside, but the passing lanes have been stopped. Both teams pulling the trigger a little sooner on offense here in the second half as you get the foul by Caitlin Wise, who came out high for that. Probably a little further from the basket than Coach Maxwell would like her to be.
Caitlin not afraid to go after that loose ball a little bit.
Out of bounds. Robert, oh, nice drive and short.
I think Caitlin would block that shot.
I think she did too. And the rim helped a little bit too. There's Julia Robert, who Morris was talking about, has not even taken a shot in this ball game, and she's one of their two leading scorers. So you got to get her off. Maybe they'll set up something for her to get a good shot off early.
There's the dribble penetration that I'm talking about. I think that's going to be a little bit more difficult to defend, because if they pass the ball periodically or go through 3 or 4 passes, that really does relax the defense a little bit. And if you come out of a pass and drive and really get them when they're on their heels, you're going to have more opportunities to score.
Well, and they might have a chance to dish too, because Caitlin Wise has been sitting there wanting the basketball, and she's got some nice footwork. That time she traveled as she tried to get control of the basketball. But
that was a good call, because when she made her move, she brought her body really low and lost a little bit of the basketball in her other hand, and so it caused herself to travel.
Now we got some full court pressure by Rochester. Turley against Hish, who handles it well. Grapperhouse, who we saw in the highlights, had the 3-point with the ball. And now Fark. Again, the very patient offense. Nashville known for this, run their sets. Hish is free, off to the right, but rebound back to the Hornets. Tough shot, not a very common shot for a patient team like that. Puts it back up, and it's going to go the other way. Well, the National fans weren't too thrilled with that.
Well, you always like those second chance points, but you want to make sure that when you put up that second chance, it's a smart shot.
She just turned and heaved. Off the front of the rim. Wall bomb, short, and Fark with it. Goes down deep to Hari, who's looking for somebody open. Frederking comes open, and they'll be patient. Come off the screen, pick down, nice shot, open look.
You know, that's going to be open a lot, because I do think that's going to be a mismatch. When she faces the basket, she can actually, attack that basket against Caitlin Wise.
Hari off the bench with 4 points, and that's a lot of points in this ball game. Inside, nicely done. Let's see what the call is. We're going to get a hold? No. We're going to get the hold on the screen, I think, against Rochester. Let's see. Calls on Mershman. Oh, take that back. It's not against Mershman. It's against
Caitlin Wise.
And that's 3, and that's a big call, because she's done a great job inside for Rochester. And they're down by 3. So Ball on pressure all the way against Hish. Nashville setting it up.
Nashville setting solid screens this second half.
Well, you talked about none of that just shoulder touching, but rather really getting down and making contact.
Right. Now, if all 5 of them do that, they're going to have some really open shots.
Frederick down on the block, which is double team. While they're moving the ball around, Front Nashville's going to be very happy when they find out in the boys A regional they beat Redbud 62-39. Nashville wins the boys A regional championship. And Nashville girls would really like to match it and go to the semifinals here at the state tournament. Again, they're very patient. You can't fall asleep though, like you said, if you're back in your heels and all of a sudden you've got an easy drive or an easy bucket. Oh, nice steal,
defense.
Oh, good control to stop it and hustle back by Hish to save the back layup.
Again, Katie Turley, she's the player that I talked about as a key player. We call her the aggravator just because she just aggravates the heck out of you. You can see, look at her, she's just all over it. Goes with a good reach inside, has an opportunity for a shot, but then there's a defensive answer at the other end.
Off the
Now
front
she has to be able to make that free throw. In the super sectional game, the free throws took them to that championship.
Well, Turley makes a second. She must have heard you, Coach. It's 17-15. Just 2 points separate these two defensive stellar teams, and we'll be back with more action in the final quarterfinal game after these local messages.
And Kathy Wagner now joined by Chris Cox, the band director for Petersburg Porta. And a lot of these teams have worked hard to get to these games, and I'm sure your band has worked just as hard to get here. What a great honor for them, and they played great all day.
Thank you very much. It is hard to get here. You have to make the audition tape, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to make the tape, and then the day is very grueling for the kids, so it's a long day.
Well, they've sounded great. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
And we're going to go back to Ann.
Thank Kathy, and that's a great point. You know, it takes a lot. We've got singers who sing the anthem. Fabulous job down here. We've got the bands who earn the right, and the officials. All of them have to achieve that through audition or performance on ratings. It's not just the teams that have achieved a trip to state.
Look at the defensive pressure that's being put on by Rochester right now.
If anything, it's accelerated. They're only down by 2 with 3:30 left to play in this third quarter. They're going to make Nashville work for every single bucket. Not that they haven't. It just seems to have turned up a notch.
I think they turned it up in the locker room. There you go. There you go.
And it's paid off. They've got the numbers. 2-on-1. Nice drive. And it counts. Count that bucket. Turley with the bucket.
And you know, Krista, actually, Frederick King, she had the right idea to try and, you know, stop that drive, but she just wasn't positioned quick enough. But take a look at Katie Turley, the defender who comes back and scores. Again, when you can steal the basketball on a defensive possession and then come out of it with some points, that really shows how much you dominate on defense.
Robinson comes in for Rochester. I'm sorry, Tierney McKay comes in for Nashville. And also number 12, Haley Farr. And that no good on the free throw, but that was a big bucket because it ties up the ball game with 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Well, elbow action, got away with it. Been very clean, but that was one of the few points off of turnovers that we've gotten in this ball game. And the good steal. Again, the patient offense with the turned up defense. Good trapping inside and coming back out. Tip from behind, that ball is out of bounds, and good call by the official. It was blocked from behind. There's Wayne Hari signaling there. You take a look at the percentages. That's certainly clear about the defense.
Well, you could see, you know,
not many shots being taken.
Exactly, both teams really given the same opportunities.
We're almost 6 minutes in and 2 shots. Defense and patience and style of play. Whoop, almost got a trouble, but she held her toe down.
Nashville coming away from setting those solid screens again.
Dana Fisher
trap.
Oh, off the body.
Two hands.
Nice save. Frederking with the save. Just about an over and back, but she's trapped up there.
She's going to get a 5.
Nice defense by Rochester, and nobody to outlet to. The possession back again to Nashville.
And, you know, we always talk about how, you know, defense, especially, you know, in football, sometimes how it wears you down offensively. But it happens in basketball, too. Rochester's defense is really wearing down Nashville's offensive rotations and offensive movement in their passes.
Well, they were getting a lot of looks up at the elbow late in the first half, and I haven't seen one shot from there in the second half. So they've obviously made some adjustments, and as you said, turned up the heat.
You can just see so much physicality inside.
2 11s going at each other, Carlson and Hish. Hish just returned to the lineup for Nashville. Oh, nice hands by Merschbaum. But Rochester couldn't come up with a loose ball. Fisher, no good, rebound. And we're gonna get a foul on the rebound. It's going to go the way of Rochester.
Well, you know, really what had happened was when Turney McKay, she was trying to get position, and what she did is she backed up her lower portion of her body to get position, knocking a Rochester player out of the way.
Fark leaves, replaced by Grapperhaus, and that foul was on Tierney McKay, number 32, the 5'8" sophomore. Rochester with the ball and a chance for the lead. Been a long time since they led in this ball game. Doesn't really matter what happens early. It's who has the lead at the very last moment.
Now see, they have some great movement. Not a smart shot.
That was Julia Roberts, I believe, first shot of the ball game.
Well, they had some great movement, starting to cut through the lane, split the defenders, try and come out of, you know, their offensive set. One of the things that Rhonda Maxwell talked about is they have multi-dimensional offenses. They do a lot of different things offensively. They're going to need to do that.
Here's a full court pressure by Rochester. So and that ball goes off the foot. Merschbaum with it. They've got a 3-on-2. It's a drill. And we're going to get a blocking foul on Hish as Merschbaum was going to the hole.
That was a break, I think. That easily could have gone just a ball out of bounds.
Points off turnover. Rochester with the advantage there. Pretty even on the turnovers, but capitalizing is the key. And Merschbaum at the line. Hish had picked up that foul. Oh, gets the roll.
Again, super sectional win. They talked about how the free throws really made a difference for them. They're having the opportunities to get to the line.
Turley replaces
particularly the second half.
Boy, I tell you, and the way they're playing defense right now, they just seem a little bit more confident than they did in the first half. Gonna probably have a lane violation here. Yep, shooter violation. But Rochester has the lead. It may be only one, but it's the first time for quite a while as you look at Rhonda Maxwell exhorting her charges with the full court pressure. They're face guarding, and on Hish, last time they were able to get her dribble off her toe. And Turley, who you talked about in the open as being the aggravator, is doing just that.
Well, I found out when I talked to this team that they spend 40% of their daily practice working on defense, and this is why. Did you see that turnover?
Wayne Hari taking a good look at the scoreboard. Not liking the way things are easing the other way. Take a look at
this is a good opportunity for Rochester to, you know, use that multi-dimensional offense and try and end the quarter with a bucket.
Turley and Wellbaum playing catch out here. 23 seconds to go. They're obviously going for one. They've got Robert at the free throw line. 2-1-2 set. They'll probably go about with 11 or 10 to go.
And I'll say Robert will take the shot.
Wellbaum's been the driver. As Robert with the shot, banks it in.
There you go.
Good
How about that?
That was Katie Turley with it. So wrong person, but right
person, but a great set.
It was that, and that is a huge bucket in this ball game. 3-point lead. Rochester now over Nashville with 1 period to go, and we will be back with the final quarter of quarterfinal action right after these messages. There you see the fourth quarter score. I know it doesn't look like your typical one, but if you're a defense, love a good defense, you've been in love with this ball game.
Well, that's not the correct score. Rochester has 20.
Correct.
Nashville has 17. They didn't add that last bucket, which was excellent execution, I might add. That's a coach's dream. You have 49 seconds on the clock, last possession, and you're going to score with 2 seconds left.
It's one thing to run off the clock. It's another to make it count when you do. And they did exactly that, finishing up with Turley with 2. So after being down most of 2 quarters, all of a sudden, Rochester with a 3-point lead, which seems huge in this ball game. Ball goes inside, and we're going to get a foul on the hands inside.
That was really a tricky pass, too.
Jamie Carlson was fouled, and we'll see who the foul is on. Foul's going to be on 33. That's going to be... That's on Serena Grapperhaus, and coming in the ballgame, Julia Robert trying to get in, but looks like she might be coming in for the shooter. So Carlson at the line.
Okay, so Ann, let's do a mental note here. Beginning of the fourth quarter, we're in the 1-and-1. See if it makes a difference.
Makes a difference. And you talked about there's a bucket. Well, we certainly know that Rochester can shoot free throws and make them count.
Coach Maxwell at halftime, you know, she talked about how she wants her kids to drive the basket. Look what it's doing for them, drawing the fouls and getting them the points.
That one rims out, almost stolen quickly by Carlson as she follows up the shot. 21-17, Frederick King with it. Tipped away, but Turley didn't realize that the ball had been knocked by Merschbaum away. Fark with it. Now Frederick King at the top. Boy, this defense has been really turned up in the second half by Rochester, and that's difference in the ballgame. Nashville's hardly gotten a chance at a shot. Oh, clean steal. Wellbaum all the way, Hish there.
Nice pull up.
Beautiful.
She really made a good decision not to just attack the basket. Good hesitation, good pull up to really get the defender to fall back and then score out of the steal again.
Here are the Menards stats through 3 quarters. Take a look at the field goals, not the kind of stats you want in that situation, but who cares as long as on the scoreboard you're ahead. Free throws, 6 out of 9. That's a big difference.
Rochester's really showing that the free throws are making a difference at this point.
Rebounds even and 3-point field goals. Neither of them shooting all that well, but again, a lot of that's a defense. Save big money at Menards, as you saw those statistics. Nashville and Rochester and their fans having a great time. The Macarena here at Redbird Arena. They kind of wait until they get on TV before they do anything.
And then they get really excited. You know, Ann, I was just looking at my stats. That was the 4th time that Rochester was able to score out of a steal. 8 points.
Well, and one of the things I thought was most impressive of that was the play. It was like a textbook steal. You use your inside hand. You reach your outside hand. You make sure there's no contact.
And it came blindsided on the ball handler. Absolutely. She didn't even know it was coming.
And her teammates were well aware too. They were opening the ball and they were down there either even with her or trailing. There's your field goal percentages. Nothing to write home about, but as long as the points that you score are more than the other guy, that's all that matters in this game. Like Bob Morris said earlier, nobody cares how you got here, just that you get there. And there's so much pressure on these kids down here. They're doing such a great job. Another dribble right in the steal.
Oh, that should be a foul. That should be a foul. 3 people making the call. We'll see what we come up with.
That was Nikki Robinson who got her hands on the ball. And they're going to call it a jump ball, and it's going to stay with Nashville. They need a bucket here. They're down by 6.
Defense really making a difference.
Oh, wow, what a defensive play.
Really making a difference.
Rhonda Maxwell.
A lot of pride there.
Now a little more pressure.
You love that 5-second call. I can't tell you what it does.
You don't get very many chances.
It's just such a motivator.
Now let's see if Nashville can turn out that defensive pressure. His certainly was.
Here's that dribble penetration.
And there it is. Many. Look just about what Rochester did when they turned it out. Make them turn in the lane and go right into the double team. Tipped it away. See if they can capitalize on it. Whoa, nice. Grapperhaus almost traveled, but she saved her tip by the toe. Hish certainly not getting any open looks anymore. Wellbaum's been all over. Frederking stop and pop, no good off the right side, and a rebound to Rochester. Oh, long pass. Robinson brings it out because she certainly did not have the numbers. There were 4 Nashville Hornets down there with her.
Frederking's really going to have to get more touches. She hasn't scored yet.
Oh, that could have gone actually either way. They're going to take the call on Frederking, but Merschbaum put a little shoulder down in there.
Tara
Tursky, sorry, with that
foul. They call her T-Rye.
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 Ashley Merschman goes the line, the 5'9" junior. She's had a lot of trips to the line here today. Didn't make that one count on the 101 and almost got her own rebound. Triple team down there on the baseline. Coming out of there is Fark. And we're going to get a foul.
That was a good idea by Katie Turley. She was really trying to force her to the sideline.
Katie Turley with the foul. Exiting is Wellman. Wellbaum goes out, and Carlson back in for Rochester, keeping fresh troops to keep applying that pressure. Oh, thought about it. Took the tougher shot. She had the outside shot, decided to drive.
Right, she lost the defender and then pulled up to put up a shot. And as she did that, she drew the foul.
Grapperhaus did score on the 3 in the first half. Merschman it's her second personal and the 4th on the team. Kind of a banger up there on that free throw. And as Wayne Hardy says, take your time, deep breath. Come on, Serena.
As a coach, you just really get frustrated when your player misses a free throw.
Well, she's a 70% free throw shooter for the season, so certainly not characteristic. And again, we've got a tied ball. Possession will go to Rochester with the 6-point lead. Clock now becoming the enemy of Nashville.
Well, I think at this point, you know, both teams are still, I think Nashville's okay. They're going to put a little full court pressure here, and they need to get some turnovers out of their pressure, though. Because Rochester can maintain possession of the basketball. We've seen that.
And they don't need to score.
They're going to get a foul if they keep tagging like that.
And we're going to get a 30-second timeout by Maxwell. Coach Maxwell said, I want to talk to you about this. And we'll be back with more action after these local messages here at Redburn Arena. .5:10 to play, 4th quarter. Nashville down by 6 to Rochester, and there are the shooting stats. Not real pretty, Bernie.
Well, the last 3 baskets by Rochester were layups, so that's helped their shooting percentage immensely.
And they'll have the ball out of bounds, triggered by Wellbaum, out of the 30-second timeout by Coach Maxwell. And finally find somebody 3. Good defense by Nashville. Rochester with it. Robert up top.
Nashville's really got to crank up defensively.
You mentioned they can waste a bit of time.
Was that fish drive? You can't miss that layup.
They had it designed well. The execution was good. The ball just would not fall.
Nashville has to shoot that shot.
Grapperhaus did this time. No good, but rebound.
That was excellent.
For Frederking, and she got fouled.
Christy Frederking going in strong for the rebound. Putting up a nice, strong, solid shot. She's such an athlete. She wants to be a physical therapist when she, goes to school, and she wants to major in physical therapy. And anytime the kid tells me that, I ask him, why were you hurt? She said, I've been really hurt. I broke an ankle. I've done this. I've done. So she really has the ins on the physical therapy.
Well, you get those athletes, and they've been playing all these different sports, and you're right. I've seen that most of the kids too. And Frederking, unusual. She's got an 8.5 scoring average, and yet she has not scored yet in this ball game. So Julia Robert, we had with no points, and Frederking, 2 of the leading scorers for their.
Frederking being the key player of the game for the Hornets.
And I'm sure that's exactly what Rochester wanted to do, is to keep her scoreless, or at least hold her down better than they thought. That's a tough pass. Good hands, Frederking with a good D. Steals the ball. Let's see if they can convert. Bodies all over the floor. Frederking comes up with it, looking for open, and they're closing off the passing lanes. Rochester with that good defense. 4 minutes to go. Basket up, no good. Rebound to the Rockets. So Katie Turley, who we highlighted in the open, the aggravator with the ball.
She does so much. She really does.
All kinds of things on the board.
Really
defense, setting picks, not always on scoring.
Nice
what a pass.
Is that teamwork or what? The pressure was on. She didn't know what to do. Waited, looked for the open player, and who did it? It was off the ball movement.
Waited for it to clear. What a great bounce pass. Led her perfectly, and Rochester with the ball and an 8-point lead with 3:27 left to go. The last piece of the puzzle is about to be solved. We'll be back right after these messages on the IHSA Network. Here is the Chevy drive of the game, and it is a thing of beauty, Bernie.
That's the assist of the night by Ashley Merschman.
And the recipient, Jamie Carlson, and
her
she
first
gives credit.
basket tonight, and how about it? And she says, thanks for the pass, baby, thanks for the pass.
That's as good as it gets. You're trapped on the sideline, you're looking for an open player, one of your teammates V-cuts and goes down the lane.
It just gives you goosebumps because it's just textbook.
Probably the most important thing is it gave them an 8-point lead with 3:27 to play. And Rochester showing a good ability to maintain control of the basketball without, holy cow, there's a collision inside, Merschman and slapped away. A lot of contact, no fouls.
Open shot.
The teams are trying to figure out which way they're supposed to go.
Pull it out, pull it out.
We had teams going both ways on fast breaks until somebody decided who was going to hang on to the basketball.
Time is on their side now.
Under 3, Rochester with 8 points, looking for an easy bucket. Robert at the top of the key. And out front, Wellbaum and Turley playing catch.
And you always have to be careful with this because of the 5-second call now.
They're well coached by Coach Maxwell, as are the Nashville Hornets with Coach Hari. But the advantage was with the team with the lead, of course. Robert comes out and helps out, comes out higher. Now we're trying to get a double team here with Hari and
the key when you run this, those two kids down at the baseline, the two forwards that really you can't see in the camera right now,
when do you
really
start
need to keep moving.
When do you start
I would have fouled already. They're taking too much time off the clock. They're down by 8. She needs to get in there and foul.
We're just about to go under 2 minutes, and now we get the foul. That's called on Shannon Hari. It's a 3-possession game right now. She could make it 4. Shannon's first personal. There you see Julia Robert. Going to the line, number 33 returns Grapper House. And in for the, also for the Hornets, number 25, Tara Ryturski. For Rochester, number 32, Nikki Robinson comes in, replaces Jamie Carlson. Robert, her first points of the ball game.
And they are big points. You know, if you're going to wait, that's the time. 2 minutes left in the game. Critical free throws, those are the ones you want to hit. There you go. That's why she's a leading scorer.
74-point free throw shooter, but even more importantly, we've got a 10-point lead. First time we've gotten to double digits, and the ball off the hands of Nashville goes over to the Rockets. They're starting to feel it here. The crowd, you can see, and the looks on Nashville, a little bit very concerned. Full court pressure. Rochester with it, good give and go. Handling the pressure is Turley, the aggravator, now turning into ball handler.
Trying really hard to foul right away.
And we get it, Fark fouls her. The next one will put him in the double bonus, and it'll be 2 shots, but right now, actually, we're already there. That is the 10th foul, so Wellbaum will get 2.
One of the things that really needs to be recognized is the fact that Rochester is a very well-coached team. I mean, if you're going to beat the #1 team in the state that's been ranked in the super sectional, and then you're going to come down here and you're going to prepare to play another quality team and really follow the game plan. That was one of the keys that I mentioned, follow their game plan, and they are actually doing all of that.
Well, and I think one of the most impressive things is the fact that they have been playing with all underclassmen as starters. And one of the things Coach Maxwell talked about was that her seniors have played the role of opposing team since they were sophomores and done it with pleasure and made that team so much better just by the roles they played.
Well, the reason why this team actually beat Hillsborough and the reason why they're doing so well tonight is because their seniors can simulate that in practice, and you really have to give those seniors credit. We don't see them on the floor here, but they really make a difference in their practice.
They absolutely have, and you've got to be very bright as well to be able to pick up something. You know, you play super sectional on Monday night, then all of a sudden you're traveling.
You're the practice team.
You don't have much time to simulate Nashville, but they have, and obviously done a heck of a job. And that means they also had to simulate Hillsborough. We're under a minute to go, 11-point lead, and Rochester looks like they are going to go to the semifinals to face Jacksonville Rout. That second semifinal is probably going to be a defensive struggle, as all of these last two games have been about defense. The first two games, a little bit more about offense. And they are running out the clock, and Nashville does not appear like they're going to foul. We don't know yet, but Robert out here with it, 5-second count. They're really good at making sure that that did not occur. 25 seconds to go, and they're going to be making their first trip even more memorable, not just getting here, but they're going to take home a trophy. Tomorrow when they play the semifinals, they'll get a chance to determine whether or not they're going to take it all the way to the championship game. And with under 10 seconds to go, they're just going to hold it. Rochester fans are already celebrating with the white towels waving, and it's going to be 28-17 Rochester. The team that upset Hillsborough would like to go to the championship, but they've got to go one game at a time.
Well, they're bringing home some trophies of some sort.
Give Coach Wayne Hari and the Nashville Hornets a lot of credit. This is an outstanding program, a great team, and they just ran into a team that made the shots when it counted and turned up the pressure that caused the turnovers it did.
And a team that can defend. I mean, defend. They only allowed 17 points. That's phenomenal defense.
Unbelievable. It's a coach's dream, and a fan, depending if you like a lot of scoring, a lot tougher. But either way you look at it, the Rochester Rockets are going to be the final piece of the puzzle here tonight. Last year we have two classes. Let's talk to that winning coach, Kathy. How's Ron Maxwell feeling right now?
All right, thank you very much, Ann. And first we're going to talk with Ashley Merchman and our Country Insurance Player of the Game. And what a game. And you guys were able to knock off the defending state champion Hillsborough. How much confidence did that give you heading into this state tournament?
I think it got a little insight that we can actually do it. We can come here, we can compete with the best. And I think our spirits were up, and this just helped us. I don't know.
And you played such great defense all game long. What were the keys to doing that?
Just fronting the post, making sure she didn't get the ball, and just being strong in there.
Congratulations on a great game. Good luck tomorrow. And we're now joined by Rhonda Maxwell. And Coach, just an outstanding defensive effort by your team. You're used to playing this kind of defense, but to do it in this big game, you have to feel pretty good.
Yeah, our defense won the game again for us, and our kids really stepped up the second half. I was afraid we might run out of gas going so hard because they make you work so hard. And, you know, we just got that lead and kept getting stops and building on it. And, you know, our defense has gotten us all the way here, and hopefully it can carry us a few more games. But we're thrilled. We knew Nashville, if they got that lead in the second half very late in the game, it was going to be tough. So I told the kids we need to take advantage of our opportunities offensively, and we just got ahead, and then our defense, and we got ahead because of our defensive intensity. Our pressure the second half was unbelievable, and the kids kind of just found out that once they started getting close and pressuring, that it was going to help us, and it sped the game up for us, which we needed.
Congratulations, Coach. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
That was Rhonda Maxwell. Now to go back to Ann and Bernie.
Thanks a lot, Kathy. And I don't know if Rhonda Maxwell's voice is going to last for the rest of the weekend.
Well, that's okay. She doesn't mind. She does not mind. And those kids, you know, she talked about the intensity and the defense. I want to give her credit because I felt that she went into the locker room. She made some adjustments. And then you give the kids credit because they came out and executed those adjustments on the floor. They showed some poise. They cranked it up when they needed to because she said we need to, you know, really intensify defensively, and they drove to the basket.
When you do what the coach says and you listen up, then good things do happen. We'll be back right after these messages on the IHSA TV network.
This broadcast is brought to you by the National Association of Realtors. Work with a realtor. Find a realtor at realtor.com. Your local Peoria Chevrolet dealer, there's an American Revolution going on now. Country Insurance and Financial Services. Real people, real answers, real quick.
Plan and they got the job done.
And, of course, defense keyed the lead for Rochester, too, Bob, because Katie Turley made a big steal, finished it, and then, of course, made that huge bucket at the end of the third quarter, which gave them a lead they would never relinquish. But I was just so impressed. You could have the ball 60 feet away from the basket and still be dogged by 2 or 3 defenders. It was like no quarter.
Well, there's no question, and the thing that impressed me probably as much as anything on that is they never fouled in that scenario. They never put Nashville at the line in the bonus situation, so they played that type of effort defense without ever fouling and putting you to the line where you get cheap baskets out of it.
And, of course, 2 big steals in that second half for Rochester, both converted into buckets, and then what a pass, maybe the highlight of the day by Ashley Mershman with that little drop pass to the cutter. You got to love that. If you're a basketball fan, you're almost on your feet watching that pass.
Well, I go back. If you're a purist, you just saw a game right there that you fell in love with, and I love the way they play in Rochester and Nashville. I don't want to take anything away from Nashville's effort tonight because Nashville's an outstanding team. They're well coached and their kids are fundamentally sound. It just that this was the epitome of a game defensively for Rochester, and Coach Maxwell's got to be super pleased right now.
Claw, and the final claw belongs to Rochester. Let's take a look at the stats brought to you, of course, by Menards. Save big money at Menards. And you look at Rochester, guys, and 25 shots. I mean, they were methodical as to what shots they would take, but again, defense has dictated some of that, but just not a lot of balls put up in the air, Angie.
No, not whatsoever. You know, you're mentioning Rochester put up 25, and then you look over Nashville's stats, and you know they put up 31. You know, so I think it was just a evenly matched played game. And like I said earlier, you know, it was going to come down to execute. And you know, earlier, you know, Rochester was just not making their free throws, and I think towards the end too, I think if Nashville would have knocked down a few of those free throws, you know, who knows what could have happened, because Nashville loves to pull it out just like Rochester did at the end.
Yeah, and Bob, those 10 free throws for Rochester loom big because all coaches remember the ones that don't go in. That is for darn sure. And there's some of the final stats, but those points in the paint really loom large for Rochester as well.
No question about it, 16-4 in that regard. You know, and we're talking about the scoring and everything, but coming into it, I'd made mention to Julia Roberts being the leading scorer for Rochester.
Right.
She had 0 attempts from the floor tonight. She was 2 of 2 at the free throw line late in the game. But when your leading scorer doesn't even take a shot, you kind of wonder about your chances of winning when as the game progresses. But they got over that hump with some great effort by everyone else.
And I think that points out also some people would get frustrated if you're the leading scorer, you don't get your points. No, she doesn't get frustrated. She's a team player, and hey, wait till the game comes to you, and that's what happened for Rochester tonight.
Well, I tell you what, there's got to be a couple of schools shaking in their boots knowing that they got to face that defensive pressure tomorrow.
And, of course, the first team to face that pressure will be Routt, who beat Stark County earlier tonight in this third quarterfinal game. But we've got a lot of basketball yet to be played tomorrow. And Angie, address the fact you've won 2 state championships here, and obviously, you know, talent has a lot to do with it. But you're playing, if you want to win it, you got to play 3 games in 2 days. And if you're playing this last game, you're basically playing 3 games in 26 hours or right around there. So you got to have some stamina.
Well, yeah, I believe you do, but I think, you know, a lot of that, you know, when you play your first game, you know, a lot of adrenaline's flowing, you know, because you hear playing in Illinois State. And then, you know, I think once you get that one win under your belt, you know, the following day, you know, you're aiming that, then you're here for a purpose, you know, and then you want to win the state championship. And a lot of teams don't want nothing less than that, or, you know, are just happy, you know, to receive a trophy. But, you know, in the times that we were here, you know, I just had a special group of girls. I mean, they knew exactly what they wanted to do. You know, they had played together, you know, for so long, you know, during grade school and all the way through high school. And I think that just made a difference. And then, you know, we just had such terrific leaders on the team. You know, I never had to worry about them being focused or ready to play. And I think that's why we were so successful.
And Bob, if you're Rochester, you don't have to worry about field goal percentage. It's not about shots falling necessarily. Your defense really kind of sets the tone, and then you'll take whatever points you can get, it would appear.
Well, it would appear that way, but I know enough about Rochester. They're a good offensive ball club tonight. And that's why I say you got to tip your hat to Nashville's defensive effort also.
Yeah.
I mean, they held Rochester to only 28 points and only 25 attempts from the floor. It just, they couldn't get anything themselves going on the offensive end. And, you know, to make another point real quickly about the fatigue factor,
yeah.
You know, it's always us adults that talk about being tired playing 3 games at 2. Those kids that are out there at 16, 17 years old, I've not seen one of them very rarely do I see one of them tired. That adrenaline carries them at that age a long ways.
Yes.
Our age, I don't think we pump that adrenaline quite as well.
You don't need a pharmacy if you're 15, is what you're
right.
saying. That's pretty much it. We're going to be back after these local messages. Eight teams arrived at Redbird Arena today, all with the same dream. 4 of those teams no longer living the dream. The reality is set in, but the semifinals still provides DreamWorks tomorrow starting at 11 o'clock. And I have to ask you, Angie, you've seen girls basketball progress over the last 30 years since it started in this state. I mean, give me some kind of measurement, because when you start 30 years ago, you are basically starting from scratch. There's not a lot of young people playing the game. The leagues aren't set up. Nothing's there. How far?
Oh, I think it's just gone a long way. I mean, you look at now and you see kids, you know, starting in 3rd grade playing on AAU teams. You know, otherwise, you know, you see them traveling around everywhere. And I think, you know, in the long run that helps a little bit, but it depends on, you know, what the kids feel. You know, that's what they want to do. You know, a lot of times, you know, parents may push them, or, you know, they may have a coach that may push them too hard. But if it's something that they want to do and be successful at it, I mean, I don't see a problem with it. You know, around our area, you know, you constantly see that. I mean, it's just constant flow. And like you said, you know, the game has changed so much. And I think what a lot of time that's been brought to the game is the fact, you know, you had 3-point arc now, and then, you know, eventually, you know, they've been talking about having a shot clock, you know, and I don't, you know how that's what, you know, to get rid of people, you know, trying to stall the ball as much and make the games more interesting. But overall, you know, I think basketball has really become a very big sport.
I'm not on the rules committee, Bob, but if you're going to try for equality on a basketball court, men and women, I think that shot clock someday will be here to stay.
Well, I think it's going to be something that's going to be a controversial item of discussion, and I think there's a lot of it that's going to come down to nationwide appeal, not
True.
just within the state of Illinois. I think you're going to see whether or not it's going to be nationwide, and a lot of the times the high schools kind of get I don't know, due to a lack of better terms, maybe sucked into rule changes because of the collegiate approach. And sometimes they're saying they want to prepare young men and women for if they're going to play after high school, what they're going to see at that level. And I think sometimes high schools follow suit because of it. I'm not saying that that's necessarily the right way, but I think sometimes that's what happens in rule changes.
Well, let me ask you this. Would we see a defensive masterpiece like we did tonight if you got that shot clock running? No?
No, not a chance. You can't run that much time off on each possession. That just wouldn't take place. You would still see good defenses, but you'd see them in shorter spans, and you'd see a lot more shot attempts. And that's what a lot of people believe needs to happen.
Well, of course, the final day of the Class A girls season will be tomorrow here live at Redbird Arena. We're going to bring you all the action on the IHSA television network. It starts tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Bob will be out there shooting free throws at about 7 just to get warmed up. Breeze Central and Walther Lutheran go at it. That should be an interesting matchup because you've got all that speed with Walther Lutheran. What is that game going to boil down to, Angie? Who knows?
I believe that it's going to boil down to how much pressure Central is going to get. I think that was a big turnaround in their ball game in that second half, and I think it wore down St. Joe's Ogden quite a bit, and we'll see tomorrow if, I feel that's going to be one of the keys of the game.
Benches come into play tomorrow, don't they, Bob?
No question about that. They definitely do. You've got, as Angie said, you've got Breeze Central there that throws a lot of full court pressure at you. Can they sustain that and get through that first game? Can Walter Lutheran sustain that kind of pressure, get through that, and then what will they have left for that next game? Whichever one of them comes out the victor, who's got the best fresh legs for the championship? Then we've seen Rochester, not necessarily full court, but yet they're after you all over the place with their defense. Can they sustain that type of effort? I think that's, how many times do you go into the semifinals like we are tomorrow talking about defense being the key to the two games rather than who's the scoring leader?
And you feel good for all the coaches, and obviously you feel empathy for the coaches that have to go home, but you got to feel good for Rhonda Maxwell. I mean, she's been knocking at that door, and of course the super sectional was always kind of the key, and now you knock down this door to get into the semifinals, and that's got to feel also kind of a release valve, if you will. You don't have that pressure on you. You're going to the final day tomorrow, so you can let it hang out.
Well, that's no doubt there, because once you get past that, we've jokingly made that comment up here to ourselves in between takes that, you're going home with hardware. It might be fourth, it might be third, but you're going home with hardware, and that's a big celebration to go back to and show off a trophy. Now, sure, you'd love to have the first or second place one in lieu of that, but when you go home with hardware, that's fun. Quick note to comment on what you said about Rhonda Maxwell. I've had the pleasure of getting to know Rhonda in a competitive spirit over the last few years, and there's no one that deserves it more than her. She has put in the time. Her teams have been fantastically coached. This team has just got over the hump, and I couldn't be happier for Rhonda. She deserves every second of fun and enjoyment that she's going to have all day tomorrow.
No doubt about it. She's probably using lipstick to put X's and O's on the mirror tonight in her hotel room, if we know Rhonda. Hey, Angie, thanks so much for your time, Bob. Enjoy the evening. We'll see you tomorrow, okay? Let's go down to two of my favorite ladies, Ann and Bernie. Ladies?
Well, hey, Jim, you have talked about just about everything we can think of at this point. And one of the things that you did not know, and credit Alan Sutton of the Chicago Tribune, who checked
loves
the record
statistics.
book. Yep, he loves statistics.
He's a stat man.
He is a stat man, and he went deep in the record book. And he pulled out a couple here. Here were some records that were either tied or broken in this game here tonight. Fewest points in a game is now held by Nashville, 17, previously by Sandburg. Fewest points in a half was 4, now it's 2, second half by Nashville. And the fewest points in a quarter tied this one, 0. There are 3 teams with that record, so
it's
great
amazing.
Defense. And the records, are made to be broken or tied, and you don't see them too often after 30 years.
It doesn't happen very often, particularly at that end. But again, because the defense, it really made a difference.
Absolutely. And, one thing we also didn't get a chance to because of the nature of the game, one of the substitutes on Nashville, Rena Ruggles, her grandfather is sort of a famous name as we look at the 100th anniversary of March Madness here in Illinois. Dick Ruggles was her grandfather, and he was the coach of the Cobden Apple Knockers in 1964. So
wow,
what a fun thing to have to bring this. Just a history. We've talked a little bit about the history when we were seeing the book and all the things that have been going on with that. That was a lot of research that's been done. 100 years for the guys, 30 for the women. 1977 started back down. Sterling, the first ball team to win down here. That was only one class. And this, again, is our last of the 2 class tournaments. Next year, we'll go to 4. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but one thing I do know,
a lot of great basketball.
A lot of great basketball, and also we talked about the idea of being a first-timer. 5 of the 8 teams here were first-timers.
Right.
In the semis tomorrow, 3 of the 4.
And that's extremely impressive to me. They talk about how critical it is to actually get to the state tournament and to have 5 of the 8 make it and then have 3 advance to the Final Four.
Right.
that shows a lot in terms of, you know, programs expanding, commitments, and just taking it. You know, Coach Maxwell, she's been going at this for 10, 11 years now, and as Bob, I would have to totally agree with him. She's worked very hard to get her program, their program, at the level that it is, and they deserve this.
Well, and it's got to be so rewarding in terms of 10 years slaving away with it, just can't get over the hump, finally beat Hillsborough.
Right.
And you got to feel really great when, in fact, not only did you get here by beating the defending state champs, but you have a chance to actually win that state championship yourself.
And again, we talked very briefly about this, but the seniors on that team really helped with the preparation for the game against Hillsborough and for the game today. Now, they won't have a whole lot of time to help them prepare for tomorrow, but I'll tell you what, it is truly a team effort with this particular group of young ladies.
Speaking of tomorrow, let's take a look at those games tomorrow. We're going to have Walter Lutheran. Seems like forever ago when they played early this morning that we had that ball game. And they're going to be playing against Breeze Central. Certainly a lot more up-tempo type style there. And then Jacksonville Route with, again, they beat Stark County with a defensive effort. And they're going to play, of course, Rochester, who won this ball game tonight. Bernie, as you take a look at those games, we're going to have that first semifinal starts at 11 a.m. We hope everybody tunes in to see that. The three-point shootout by Country Insurance, three-point shootout, will also be tomorrow. And that, of course, is going for Queen of the Hill, with the Double A's taking part in that. And then we'll finish up with Jacksonville Route and Rochester. And the winner, the third-place game, will be at 6:30 tomorrow night, followed up by the championship game. And we don't know who that's going to be yet.
Well, you know, as we look at the Final Four teams, we know that whoever wins each game will be in the championship game. Right. But all four of them will be able to bring home some hardware, which really means a lot to the schools and to the program.
Absolutely.
But when they wake up in the morning, everybody wants to make it to that 8 o'clock game on Saturday night.
You just don't come here to play the game. You want to make sure
you
that
want to win the tournament.
Leave nothing on the floor.
Especially now after today.
Oh, no kidding. And, you know, like 3 of those teams are going to take home a trophy for the first time, not just being there. We don't know who it's going to be, but we know for sure we're going to be bringing you all that action live here on the IHSA TV network. 11 a.m. is our first game tomorrow, followed up by the second of the semifinals. And then we'll have the third-place game at 6:30 tomorrow night, followed by the championship game. And, Bernie, any predictions?
Oh, no, I'm not going to predict anything other than the fact that anybody who tunes in tomorrow is going to see some excellent defense.
Well, we know one thing's for sure. Rochester won 28-17 in this final quarterfinal game. For Bernie Chero, I'm Ann Penston. We'll see you tomorrow with the first semifinal game tomorrow at 11.